Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are. Thank you. I want to thank you all for tuning in to Michael John Paranormal. I am your host, your ghost host, Michael John. If you haven't already, right down below there's that subscribe button. Please, please, please hit the subscribe button. Share this. Share my YouTube channel. Please share with all your friends. Tell a buddy, bring a friend. Tell everybody you can about how awesome Michael John Paranormal is. So now, welcome to today. Thank you so much for your time. Let's get rolling with the story. Okay, so this is from my book, When You Talk to the Dead, They Hear You. This chapter, or act, is act number 3, act 3, and it is titled Astral Travel is for the Dogs. So the next, I'm going to read it. Okay, here we go. The next story is very near and dear to my heart. Now, have you ever wondered to yourself what it would be like to astral travel? I, for one, believe that I've been lucky enough to do just that. And I'm going to share with you what is my knowledge, the only actual astral travel experience that I've ever had. As far as my top personal favorite paranormal experiences go, I'm going to say this definitely is up there as one of my top 3. Now, let me begin by saying this. Everything started when, for what seemed months, I was exploring all the countless meditation and subliminal audio that you can find online to listen to. Now, let me tell you this. I was listening to certainly more than a few of these audios at a time. And when I say months, I'm saying 8, possibly 10 months. I was consistent with it. Now, believe me, I was patient, and I definitely put some time and focus in on this project, which is what you have to do with anything like this. And now, at some point, of course, my ADD kicked in, and again, my focus drifts elsewhere, onto other things for whatever reason. There were countless audios that I had attempted to use, such, for example, developing your ESP. I tried some audios titled Develop Your Intuition. I tried audios entitled Learn to Astral Travel, just to name a few. Now, most days I play all these audios at the same time, like I was saying. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I lost my focus, which means I forgot about listening to those particular audios, okay? Along with the astral travel audio, of course, most importantly. Now, finally, all these videos, they're long forgotten. They're in the furthest reaches of my subconscious, right? Now, several other audios, they've replaced them in my head. One lazy summer afternoon, here I am with my windows open. I'm just chilling with my Buster and my Rosie. Decide to lay down and have a nap with my 2 dogs. Now, by lying down, we chose to play some awesome, relaxing music, I believe. At least to me it is. A gentleman by the name of Gorkum Han Jr. The song from him I chose to listen to is titled simply Ocean. So I'm listening to this song in the background as I read this story for you now. Needless to say, it wasn't long before I quickly drifted off with this music. And as I was relaxing and drifting away, next thing I knew, I was walking on a sandy pathway. Now, all along this pathway, what's pretty cool about this, all along this path on both sides of me, there were tall blades of grass. They swayed back and forth, if you will, in this really warm, beautiful summer breeze, which was all around me, surrounding me. Now, as I'm walking along between these blades of grass, I swear I can hear waves crashing into the shore off in the distance. Now, this dream I'm having is so unbelievably real. Oh my God, I can feel my feet sink and hear them crunch into the warm sand as I'm walking along the pathway, all right? That's how amazing this was. Now, the absolute coolest thing among all the cool things that happened in this experience, my fur babies, Buster as well as Rosie, they were there walking beside me all the way, escorting me, if you will, as I walked along the sandy path there. Now, at last, I came to a clearing, just as I thought, I'd heard and described earlier. There were waves crashing against a shoreline in front of me. This tall grass on either side of us was no more just a sandy beach now, as far as the eyes could see surrounding us. Now, Buster and Rosie, they walked out onto the beach, and the beach was full of beautiful white sand. Now, the water had to be bluest of blue, man. It was incredible, as they say. Now, to my absolute joy, sheer amazement, all over this beach there were dogs. Okay, there's countless dogs running around. These dogs were of various breeds, colors, sizes, and I'm going to guess and say there were roughly a dozen dogs running around the beach, maybe less, maybe more, by one or two. Now, the most amazing moment in this astral travel dream that I experienced, it also made to this date the most emotional experience on so many levels for me. And I say that because all these dogs that were running around me on the beach, I knew every one of these dogs personally. Growing up, I was fortunate to have been raised with dogs around me more often than not. So I had dogs in my life, from poodles to Yorkies, from mutts to Bouviers. And here in the astral travel experience I was having, there were most, if not all, the dogs I've been fortunate to have experienced in one way or another in my life. Dogs that I instantly bonded with, for to say it like that. These were dogs that I've lived with growing up in our house, like my poodle Snowball, our Yorkie Misty. She was running around. There were dogs that I bonded with that belonged to family members that we were close to, like my grandparents' poodle named Peppy. We visited family a lot back then when we were little kids, and I saw these dogs a lot. And of course, I also had friends I was close to as a kid. Now, many of these friends had dogs as well. My friends' dogs that I had gotten close to, they were running around here on the beach with the rest of them. What I found amazing about this dream was, as well as now astral travel dreaming, or whatever the hell this was I was experiencing, there was no sense of time. And that's what I found amazing. Not for this experience was there a time. No sense of time anyway. Now, for what could have lasted, I'd say 3 seconds in total length, or maybe hours, right? I had the most incredible opportunity where I got to spend time with each and every one of these dogs I once knew well in this experience. Now, each and every one of them individually. Here I was given a chance to speak to each and every one of them, face to snout, if you will, right? Now, the best part was I didn't speak to them from my mouth using words. The dogs and I communicated with each other using telepathy. Yes, amazingly, we spoke using our minds. Now, this experience was incredibly emotional in so many positive ways. Without doubt, this was a unique, incredible astral travel experience for myself. To my knowledge, this is the only time I've ever astral traveled. Emotional in the experience, as I was able to speak with all of my dogs, is why I say that. And I spoke with my dogs about how great it was to see them. I would discuss individual events which pertain to myself and one particular dog. Now, this was such, like I said, an emotional experience that I woke sitting up crying. It's choking me up now talking about it. Now, I wasn't crying out of sadness by any means. Don't get me wrong here, right? I was crying because, as a fur parent, any fur parent would understand, I believe. I miss all these dogs like crazy. So mostly here I am. I'm crying like a lunatic, but I got a beautiful feeling of happiness and gratitude, feeling of happiness that I haven't felt in decades. Now, a strong feeling of gratitude to be able to see all my buddies together again. It was incredible. It was so real. And that's, what this experience was. I would say with absolute conviction what I went through. What this experience was, I have no idea. Now, I'm going to stick with what I believe it is in my heart and in my soul that I experienced. And from the research I've done regarding this topic, descriptions I have read of experience that individuals have had, the most logical explanation I can come up with, Michael John, from Michael John Paranormal, I believe I had an astral travel experience. Please comment down below. I want to hear about your experiences, of course. Please and thank you. Do that. Give this video a like as well. Now, I personally want to encourage anyone who's ever given it a moment's thought to attempt to astral travel. Losing my breath. Fat guy sweats, all that stuff. Just experience it for yourself. Try it. Do it. This was a tremendous experience, period, for me. Okay. First off and foremost, you're going to have success at this with patience and focus. Absolutely. If I can do it, you can definitely do it. Like I said, I got ADD more times than not, so it's really hard for me to focus. At least that's my excuse. Now, Focus on listening to as many audios as you can that encourage astral travel. Play multiples at once, like I've done. Certainly, the more the merrier. You know, your subconscious mind will pick up all of it. You don't need to pay attention to it. Just play it in the background while you're running around your house. So what I suggest is you try listening to them while you're doing work. Like I said, just play them in the background of your day. Then after, let's say, a few weeks of this, forget about it. Just go on to other things. I find after all that focus on something like that, I find letting it all go, that's the way to go. And when I least expect anything is when my experiences happen. So speaking of results, when you least expect them, I just reminded myself another story. And this story is hand in hand with astral traveling again. This is another story that again involves our two dogs, Buster and Rosie. Now this time, Buster and Rosie are with us, unwilling, unappreciative, unexpected participants. None other than my lovely wife, Jolene, is also partial to playing audios for subliminal purposes, hypnosis purpose, or even relaxation purposes, depending on her mood, of course. Now, one particular night while she was playing one of her usual hypnosis discs, or so she thought this was one of her usual discs. On this occasion, it would have been not the case for poor Jolene. Okay, now proving again that audios and subliminals work. After a few days of listening to this particular CD, Jolene approached me and asked me what exactly was on the CD she had been playing recently, seeing as this disc was a blank disc. There was nothing written on it describing what this was. So I decided to have a quick listen to the disc to figure out what this was. And upon playing the CD, immediately I knew it. And chuckling, of course, I told Jolene, "Oh, you're listening to an astral travel disc. What's up? Why do you ask?" Clearly, my wife was pretty upset. Not to mention, she was literally shaken up. For whatever reason, she figured that I was playing a prank on her and that I had conspired to put the CD in our disc player on purpose. Now, to this very day, I have to assure her I did nothing of the sort, and I wouldn't do something like that to her, or anyone for that matter. I wasn't even quite sure how Jolene even had that disc to begin with. Now, my wife told me that she had woke up one night as she thought she overheard me talking in the living room to someone. She thought maybe I had company or whatever. So curiosity got the better of her, and she wanted to know who I was talking to at this hour. So she crawled out of bed, groggily walked up the hallway in our apartment, and once again, Jolene made it out to the living room, and the realization hit her. I was nowhere to be found. Right? I wasn't home at all. Quickly, Jolene disregards hearing me talking altogether. Jolene walks over to the kitchen, grabs herself some orange juice from the fridge, yada yada, has a drink, this, that, the other thing. Now, after finishing the orange juice, Jolene leaves her glass on the kitchen counter. So now she's looking up the hallway leading to the bedroom, and she hears our two dogs, Buster and Rosie, grumbling and growling in the bedroom. So she tells them to be quiet, and she go back to sleep. It's bedtime. Jolene tells me then she remembers laying back down on the bed, and within seconds, she's sitting up now in her bed with our two dogs fast asleep around her. Okay? Now, excuse my hand, sorry. She's startled and dumbfounded now. So she gets back out of bed. She walks up the hallway of our apartment again, back to the living room, realizes again I'm not home. Confused still, Jolene now walks into the kitchen where she notices there's no glass anywhere on the counter. Anxiety and confusion, they overcame my wife quickly upon realizing there was no glass on the counter. So Jolene headed straight for the bedroom to open up our CD player, our portable CD. Now, this, my friends, is how Jolene discovered the blank CD inside. And Jolene, to this day, swears she got out of bed because she heard me talking in our living room, walking around our apartment looking for me. She swears she drank some orange juice, left the empty glass on the counter. Yes, Jolene is insistent what she experienced was real. And just like Jolene and I experienced, all I can say is yes, astral travel is real. And you have the power. Happy hauntings.